like to start off this morning with a picture. This is my godchild Jessie. She's 3 years old. And how many of you would say from this picture that she looks like the average 3-year-old? Well, Jessie actually suffers from a disease called cerebral palsy. This is a disease that affects the muscles in the body, and it affects their ability to learn and their ability for their muscles for the flexibility of their muscles. There are a few different types of cerebral palsy. I'm not going to get into those today because it is very time consuming. But I would like to relate this to y'all because oftentimes when you're walking in the street, you might see a kid, or not necessarily a kid, or somebody who walks with a limp. They walk with crutches, they're bound to a wheelchair, they walk with leg braces. These people are often people who suffer from this disease. And as I said, my godchild has it, so that's why I kind of wanted to speak with y'all about this today. So today I'm going to talk to y'all about what cerebral palsy, well, I'm not going to really get into what cerebral palsy is because it just affects the muscles in the body and their motor skills and their ability to learn. But I will talk to y'all today about how it affects their communication and how it affects their ability to meet milestones in life. So my first point today is it affects their ability to communicate. As far as talking, at a young age, they speak very unclearly and they kind of slur. So oftentimes they attend speech therapy, which helps them to clear up their language, and it also helps them to learn a bigger vocabulary. According to the Danielle Foundation, I found online that this disease is the number one cause of motor disorders in kids. So it greatly affects their ability to communicate with others. When it comes to their communication, they also relate words to things they already know. Like I know my godchild Jessie, she often relates the letter C to me. When you ask her what does C mean, she says nanny because my name starts with C. So next I will talk to y'all about how it affects them reaching their milestones. For example, crawling, walking, it takes them a while to meet these milestones. Depending on the severity of the case, some kids never get the chance to walk or crawl, things like that. Some, like here is the leg braces. This helps to flatten their feet because the muscles in their legs are so tight that it doesn't allow them to flatten their feet, which doesn't give them the ability to walk. So these leg braces help to support the leg to keep the knees straight for them to walk. Some walk with crutches, as you can see the little boy right here, and others are bound to wheelchairs. There's not a cure for this disease. There are only treatment options. As I said, the leg braces are one of them, but there are also some other things that can be done to help these kids to try to walk. For example, this is hippotherapy, which is when they ride horses, and it helps to loosen up the muscles in their legs. And they also some kids, it comes to the point where they get Botox in their legs. And this also helps to loosen the muscles in their legs and release their flexibility. And a lot of kids also do physical therapy. Physical therapy is probably one of the biggest ones. I know Jessie goes to therapy like 3 and 4 times a week. She does hippotherapy a couple times a week. And she does Botox every 3 months. So as you can see, it is a very time-consuming disease as far as with the parents, because these kids aren't able to do like we can do. They can't walk, so the parents have a big role in this kid's disease. It is also found that 40% of kids who are born with this suffer from a severe case, meaning that they are bound to wheelchairs, they are walking with crutches, they're unable to do for themselves, pretty much. So this disease is pretty much unavoidable. There's nothing that can be done to prevent it. There's nothing that a parent did wrong. It's just something that they're born with. I found that it could have happened during birth, but that's not necessarily the case all the time. But like I said, there's no cure for it. There are treatments. Kids today go through so much with this disease. But if y'all don't remember anything else from this, just remember this. They did not choose to get this disease. This disease found them. And no matter what these kids go through, they always have a smile on their face. So just remember that they are normal kids. They're just a few steps behind. And if that's all I have. So if y'all have any questions?
Why is it called hippotherapy? Is there any significance behind
Because the way they sit on the horse, it affects the way their hips, like the muscles in their hips. It affects when the horse walks. Like I know Jessie even does it to where she'll like ride forwards first, and then they'll make her like ride around with like put her hands up so she won't hold on. So it works the core muscles in her to help her sit up. And then they also like turn them around on the horse, like put them on backwards, which also helps them to work that core strength so they're able to sit up.
How early did they find out that she had cerebral palsy? Like from birth?
She suffered, for the first few months of her life, she suffered from colic, and we didn't really know what was wrong. She has been to so many doctor's appointments, like I've been with my nanny to a bunch of them with her, and she's been through so much. I mean, it took a good 6 to 8 months before they were able to diagnose her with it.
Do people with this disease like constantly pull and tear their muscles because they're so tight, like feel the pressure?
They're like that's what makes it so hard for them to walk, because the muscles are so tight that they can't like stretch their legs out, like they can't straighten their knees.
Have you met anyone besides her that has the same problem?
There actually is a girl who lives where I live. She's a grown woman. She has a kid. She's married. She's living a normal life. She walks with a limp, but that is the only thing that affects her right now. Like she's like the most normal person ever. The only effect that she has is walking with a limp.
Is there a particular age that they start therapy, like speech therapy?
I mean, as soon as I know for Jessie, as soon as she was diagnosed with it, you could see changes just like that. Because I know Jessie started therapy before she was actually diagnosed with it. Because like they weren't sure what was wrong, so they knew that something was wrong. They just didn't know exactly what it was at the time. They knew that she wasn't meeting her milestones, and they knew that she wasn't developing as quickly as normal kids her age do. So that's why she started therapy earlier, and when they diagnosed her, they just changed the therapy and changed the different exercises that she does.
Chelsea, what were the primary sources that you consulted for this news?
I did consult in my nanny. My nanny was one of my big sources. Like I said, I've been to a lot of appointments with her, and I've sat down and talked with her all the time. She's always texting me about how Jessie's doing and different things like that. So I did actually do an interview with her and talk to her about it. I also found a website called kidshealth.org, and it basically stated everything you needed to know about cerebral palsy. It talked about what it was, the different types, how it affects the kids. Everything you needed to know about it was found on that website.
Did you look at the United Cerebral Palsy website?
I did. I actually, the link to the kidshealth.org, there was a link to it, and I looked at it, and it's just a foundation that helps different. It's just like kind of like the Danielle Foundation that I mentioned. It helps kids. It helps the family of kids who are affected by this disease.
Any last question? Thank you, Chelsea.